So that's the first non-standard thing. The other thing that I'm going to do, you may notice that there are sub-collections underneath each of these. Now, these are not links, but I've created a sub-collection of the main collection to separate out the 32 and 64-bit versions. And this is where I say if there was some new architecture, if there's the new Intel 256-bit processor and we need to detect it, there will be a WMI call and we will be able to create collections based on it. So let's use that to determine 32 and 64 and it will scale. So for each flavor of machine, I want to create a sub-collection that is based off of all the computers that are in this group who need to get this software. Select out for me just the 64-bit versions. And so I will create a new collection, and I'll get the wizard, and it'll say 64-bit computers. I'm sorry, that's not even close. It'll have the same name as the parent collection. Again, very important that you follow the rule. Never ever get confused and type the wrong thing. I'm going to add the x64 suffix on the end of this to indicate that this is the computers in this group that match this criteria also. And be sure to follow any local documentation conventions that you may have. The rule for 32 versus 64, we need to edit the query statement and pull out from a simple value from the computer system class. And computer system has a bunch of stuff, including system type. And if I look at the values of system type, they have 64 and 32. And in theory, because this is all pulled from the database, if there is something besides 64 and 32, that would get listed there. I will say OK to that. And so I've got a criteria that picks out the 64-bit now, so that picks out the 64-bit. The limit to collection, this is where I want to say I want it to be just for the collection that includes everybody in the group. So this sub-collection will only have those people who are both 64-bit and in the group. And I do want to dynamically update it. Don't have any advertisements yet, but that's the next piece. I will now hit the little starburst, add not the College of Education, but the OITOU admins. I will grant them all the rights that are needed. And that way, when and if I am hit by a bus, I will be secure in the knowledge that one of my teammates can pick up and manage this and they won't curse my name instead of eulogize me. So again, we would use the same sets for the 32-bit versions. Let's go make some advertisements. Now the last thing to do is to create an advertisement to link our packages to our collections. I'm in the console and I will go to software distribution advertisements. Once again, there's a container for each of your OUs. I've got some here. I will create a new advertisement to start the wizard. I will name this more closely to the conventions than usual. This is all relatively straightforward, as you can see. The package that I want to distribute is I'll start with 64-bit. I want to do a per system unattended, and I want to hook it up to the collection for 64-bit computers. So because I've arranged this in the non-standard way, I have the 64-bit, and so the 64-bit machines will get the 64-bit package. Now, for the advertisement, an advertisement is something that the end user can see, and you can specify, I'd like to begin making this available to my clients on this date. If you want to have a limited time, there's a beta and it's going to end at such and such a date, you can put dates in. You can also do mandatory assignments, which are probably more appropriate for per system unattended. This allows you to say whether or not the end user selects to install it from their add remove programs. I would like to assign it as soon as possible, or on the next login, next log off. You can set when it should set. If it's a critical update and you need to make sure that this happens regardless of the maintenance windows, you can control that. There's some priority in that if there's a ton of stuff to be delivered, you can specify low, medium, and high for what happens first and last, and some retry behaviors. All of our distribution points are fast network boundary. Again, this is your client is associated with a Active Directory site, and all the site, we only have one site. So the distribution points are all protected fast distribution points, so this really doesn't matter. It's fine to allow it to fall back. That'll just run. The allow users to run independently of assignments, I'm not entirely sure what that's for, so I'll leave that to someone more clever than I. As always, we need to set our permissions so that other folks in your group can access it. This is also helpful if you are the only OU admin. By adding someone to the group, you can get one of the domain administrators could add themselves to the OU admin group and thus get access to the stuff, so that if you were to forget your account password or for some reason your account was damaged, there would be a disaster recovery piece. So here's all the summary of all the good stuff. It will do it and give me a pretty color-coded success, success, success. And now I have published this application for the 64-bit machines. I'll repeat this for the 32-bit machines, and then I can begin putting workstations into the group that we created, and the 64 32-bit collections will be populated automatically, and I should be able to actually test the client installation. I hope that this has been useful to you. I know it's been kind of a whirlwind of unscripted start and stop, but hopefully this will give you the confidence to jump into the console and start making some apps. This is John Klein with the NC State Office of Information Technology. Thank you very much, and I hope to